You don't go to a date and return her pregnant. You don't go to a date and return her broken. You don't go to a date, and return her when she's all messed up in her focus.
Hello and welcome back. My name is Judyowitimentor, and here you get wisdom tips and encouragement to live your best life. We've been talking about dating, and so far we've looked at singleness and what you should aim to achieve in your season of singleness. And last week we looked at 3 things you should be very clear about when going into dating. Today we are moving forward and we are looking at qualities of a good man. Now, the purpose of dating is to evaluate the other person and to see if they are suitable for a spouse. If you're a woman, what kind of qualities should you look out for in a man? And if you are the man, these are the qualities that you should aspire to have. To help us navigate this conversation is Martin Kamau, our guest today. Martin is an IT consultant, a youth mentor. He serves as a teen teacher at ICC Mombasa and is a part-time lecturer at Judyowitimentor University. Karibu sana, Martin. We are so privileged to have you today.
Thank you, Judy. It's an honor to be here and to discuss with this very challenging topic, especially for the youth currently.
Yeah, and Martin, this is such a crucial conversation to have, especially in these times where we see a breakdown in relationships, a breakdown in marriages. Something is definitely amiss somewhere. And one might ask, what is the connection of that to what we are talking about today? And the truth is that when we date well, we marry well. So it starts with my choice of a spouse. It starts with your choice of a spouse. Would you agree?
Yeah, true. I agree. I mean, reflecting back during our dating time and I can be able to look at how people were dating and how they are doing currently in their marriage. The way you relate during dating actually determines, of course, there are those very few people who actually manage to change, but more often than not, you will find that a good start would actually determine a good marriage and a good finish, even in the way you bring up your children. I agree to that statement.
It is said you are born a male, but becoming a man is a choice. Having the male part doesn't make you a man. You don't automatically become a man. You become a man by choice. What does that mean?
Well, your sex could be male, but that does not necessarily make you a man, because a man is actually made. You can choose to be a man, but this actually, even when you look at the Bible, you will realize that men are made. If you look at Esau and you look at Jacob and then you look at their father, you notice that the father had actually made Esau to be a very great man because he acknowledged him and he used to actually favor him and in everything. But you find Jacob was very timid and very reserved, because the dad was not acknowledging him. Men are made by other men. Okay? But as you said, you can also choose to be a man, where you say the environment which I was brought up in does not determine the type of a man I'm going to grow up to be. Even the education or in every other thing is not going to determine the type of a person that I am going to be. Like Jacob decided, this is not the type of a man I want to be. I want to be a successful man. I want to be acknowledged. I want to have favor with my parents. And so, of course, he went through it the wrong way, but at least he took steps towards that direction. So even if you're born by a single woman, even if you're born by an abusive father, you can choose not to be an abusive man. And even if you're born by a single woman, you can choose a role model of a man who you are going to grow up to be like. So yes, a man is made, but you can also make choice to determine the type of a man you're going to grow up to be like.
What are the qualities that one should look out for when they're looking for a man to date so that they can marry them?
I remember when we were in college, that's when we were really serious into dating. Before college, I think the type of dating is just feel good type of dating. Oh, I have a guy and I'm writing a letter. We used to write letters. So that wasn't dating. But when you go to college, you actually get into serious dating where you're actually thinking, is this the type of a person I would want to marry? And so during that time, we would sit with, because we used to have an accountability group of men. We had decided that because in college you have too much freedom and getting astray was very, very easy. So we decided, how are we going to be different? We are going to be different by not becoming what people think men in college should be. And so we formed an accountability group and we decided to look at things that would be necessary for us to be successful men when we are dating. And one of the things that actually kept us going, we decided that when we go out on a date with a girl, whether you're going to get into a relationship with her or you're just doing a date because you just want to catch up with her, the one thing that we will need to focus on is by the time she is done, we are done with the date, she should be a better person than she was when we started that date. Okay. So you don't go to a date and return her pregnant. You don't go to a date and return her broken. You don't go to a date, and return her when she's all messed up in her focus. So one of the things to look out in a man is when you interact with them, after laughing and all is said and done, do you come out of there a better person or a worse person? If you are there either the same person or a worse person, then you need to rethink that type of dating. So that is the first thing you need to note.
That talks to the fact that a man is supposed to cultivate. In the beginning, in the Garden of Eden, God told Adam to tend and to keep the garden. And that tells me that cultivating is one of the things that a man is supposed to do. They're supposed to bring out the best of something.
Exactly.
So it shouldn't be the one that is destroying that person. It should be the one that is bringing out the best in that person.
The other thing we used to emphasize when we are dating is once you have decided this is the one that I am going to have a relationship with, the focus should not be, I am going out with her so that I can have status. You know, the way, oh, I have a cute chick, I'm going out and everybody has not been able to get her, but I got her. That should not be the goal. The goal was, I'm going to date with this lady and the focus is at the end of the day, when that time comes, she's the one I'm going to marry. So it wasn't a road test. The goal, it may not work out because during dating, you realize so many things. Maybe the values are not properly aligned and all that, and you may end up breaking up. But at the end of the day, your goal was that you may marry this girl. So when that is the goal, then you realize that every discussion, every action, and everything is to build this girl to be a person who you would spend your life with for the rest of your life. So you do not seek to destroy her, but you seek to build her up to the point where even if it did not work out, she will always look back to you as the best man she ever had in her life. So that was another goal that we set up as these men.
Okay.
And building her up is not, it's not just, just a word. You're saying that if she's struggling in her academics, you will go ahead and work with her. Or even if you're struggling and she's better than you in certain areas, you will work together to better each other. So it's not a one-way traffic. If she has issues with socialization or you have issues with socialization, you work together. If you have issues with your walk with God or she has issues with her walk with God, you are going to make her stronger. You're going to pray for her. You're going to drag her to the Bible study and everything that would equip her and build her to be a better person than she was before she started dating you. So basically building her up as if she's already your wife, but you're not going to consummate. Now that's the third thing we said. Number 3, we are not going to have sex with the girls we are dating. And that was a pact. So how did we manage it? It was the hardest thing, actually. I mean, you're in campus, you have your own room, you have your own money, everything. So what we would do is when you knew you're going to be on a date and it's going to be in a secluded place, because we would encourage dates to be in restaurants and all that. Like if she was coming to your room for dinner, we would take turns to be knocking at your door every 5 minutes.
So you're keeping your friend accountable.
Yes, we would keep each other accountable. And if you messed up, for example, if we had said no kissing and you kissed, you had to be open with it. So that we get to investigate and know what is the root problem. How can we deal with this?
That is really a key component among men, like that you should have an accountability partner, someone you are accountable to. When you are just on your own, you are law unto yourself, you don't work with anybody, then it's so easy to fall into those traps. It's not just falling into sexual temptation alone. There's so many other temptations when you're out there in campus, like getting into drugs, being involved in crime, just the wrong company. So I admire that part. The part that you're talking about, Martin, it speaks to the protective nature that a man is supposed to have, right? A man is supposed to be a protector. If you're asking for sex before marriage, are you really protecting that person? Do you really respect her future, her destiny? Do you care about even the consequences of your actions? Also, protecting comes in terms of not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually. Like if you're the one who is stressing this girl, you are driving her nuts.
The other thing we said is we will not get married before we can provide for our women. And so most of us got married after we got jobs. And this is how it worked out, because we were faithful during our prime time, because for us to keep away from engaging from these issues, what we did is we kept ourselves busy. We would engage in, starting programs like movies, Christian movies, coming up with picnics that are Christian. We would come up with fellowships that are fun for the youth. And so you find that the youth group grew from 60 people to 2,000 people in a span of 1 year because of the engagement and the energy we put into it. So we poured our energy into godly stuff, and therefore we didn't have time to sit back and think, oh my goodness, I need to be creative in how to nab that girl or to trap that girl and, to do all these many things. And so what happened is after we finished college, most of us got a job within 3 to 6 months. Some of them got like immediately. I got my first job after 3 months. Most of us, actually I can attest, the group we were with, in a span of 6 months, they already had their jobs. What does that show? It shows that when you're faithful in your dating and in the way you carry yourself in your youth, God actually sees it and actually blesses you. So the things that most of us are struggling with, we may call them curses, we may call them so many things, but perhaps it's some principles we broke and they are working against us. There's always cause and effect in physics and even in godliness.
How can you tell that this man will be a provider? When you're dating them, let's say you're 20 and you're dating this man, how do you tell that this man is a provider? Because I always find that if a man is stingy at 20, they will be stingy at 40. There is such a rise of men who want to be taken care of by women. I mean, this, we are seeing this everywhere. They come and crash in your apartment. Before you know it, they're living there. You go to work as the woman, the man stays behind to watch video games and to watch football and just to entertain themselves while you're working. And they feel nothing, How can you tell that this man is a provider from that young age?
Let me start with the sad fact. Girls are attracted by bad boys. Most bad boys I knew would copy exams. They would look for every shortcut so that they can be able to have so much time to have fun. But most of the good boys I knew, instead of spending their time having fun, quote unquote, they would actually apportion time for fun and apportion time for study and apportion time for socialization. They had a balanced life. So how would you know a man who will not be stingy, a man who will be able to take care of you, even though at the moment they have not yet gotten to that point? You can look at the way they balance their life. You find that this person, they may not be getting their A's, but whatever C they are getting, they're actually working at it. So you know that this person will actually work for whatever they have in their hands at that moment. They will work for it. And then the other way to know that this man will actually take care of you is, for example, when you are in need of something, it doesn't have to be finances. Maybe you need time to speak to them, or you need time to just talk with them and just so that they listen to you because of one reason or the other. They will actually create time and not make excuses. Then you know that this is a person who can go at length to take care of you and show care for your life. Then one other way you can be able to know a man and the way they are going to turn out is to look at their friends. What sort of friends does he hang around? Because like I said, men are made. If a man is hanging around bad company, trust me, no matter how good they are going to turn out wrong. So if they are hanging out with people who seem to know their way around and people who are focused, people who are respectful, so that when you are around them, even when your boyfriend is not around, they are not making, passes at you. They are actually respecting their friend because they know they will even protect you because you are their friend's girl. Then you know that this man knows how to choose the right company, and therefore this person's heart and mind is in the right place. So you can pick such signals. It's not the family. Just look at him as an individual. Look at the company he keeps. Look at the way he accomplishes his task. Does he wait until last minute to start rushing? Is this person a person who takes seriously whatever task is ahead of them? Does he pay attention to you when you need them? Do they come and they actually listen to you, pay attention to you, give advice? It may not be good because of their age, but at least it's an advice which if you implement at that time, it may give solution, or at least they listen to you. Then you would know that this is somebody, when we grow up, it's somebody I can relate with, I can count on to provide and go the extra mile to actually meet my needs.